Hello and welcome to a special episode of the podcast Books and Us. Listeners, this is a bonus episode and we will bring you these from time to time.
In my book, Indian roots, they truly come alive. The emphasis of family values, the respect for elders, and the vibrancy, the colorful celebration that deeply reminded me of India.
Today we feature Vineet Kumar, author of a book that takes us on a vivid journey through the heart of Central America. The name of the book is Mayan Roots, Indian Roots, a geopolitical travelogue through Central America and tracing its connections to India. So, this was a trip which Vineet had undertaken through the countries which were once part of the great Mayan civilization. Beginning from Mexico, he travels up to the Panama Canal and brings us some remarkable stories from the Mayan heartland. He looks out for traditions and cultural aspects which resonate with his Indian roots. The book is published by Walnut Publications. Vineet, a very warm welcome to the podcast Books and Us.
Thank you so very much, sir. At the outset, very warm good morning to you too, sir. And I'm so very thankful to have me on the show, sir.
Yeah, you are welcome. Well, let me tell you a bit about Vineet. Vineet is a multifaceted personality. And actually, while reading the book, I almost lost count of the many talents which he has and through which he explores the countries in which he travels. He is a yoga enthusiast, an avid theater actor, a scuba diver, a language enthusiast, and an alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad and Jawaharlal Nehru University. Most of all, he is an army man, a lieutenant colonel who trains personnel for special operations and has served in the UN Peacekeeping Force. Most of all, he is a storyteller. So, Vineet, what are the stories which your book brings to life?
Well, my book is precisely what the title suggests, yet it is much more. On the surface, it is a deep dive into the heart of Central America, from Mexico down through Belize, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama. But what makes it unique is the true core of the book, is my relentless pursuit of the hidden, unexpected, and often unbelievable connections between this vibrant region and India. It's a geopolitical travelogue per se, meaning I don't just describe the landscape, but I also explore the historical, the cultural, and even economic threads that, in a very subtle way, yet profoundly, links these two seemingly very distant part of the world. It has been written through the lens of my diverse background, maybe being a soldier or alumnus of IIM Ahmedabad, a yoga or a scuba instructor, but also simply as an Indian traveler curious about global interconnection. So this book is all about that, and as we go ahead, we will see that how different aspects from the world I have picked and chosen it to intertwine them into a garland kind of thing to present it before the world.
That sounds very interesting, and we'll explore those connections just in a while. But before that, I want to bring to the listeners the stories about the Mayan civilization. And when you land in Mexico, you explore the Pyramid of the Sun. So, can you tell us more about it, and how was your visit there?
Yes, definitely. This is something very close to my heart. The Pyramid of the Sun is indeed a magnificent monument in Mexico, and highlight of any journey through ancient Mesoamerica is a true awe-inspiring structure. Though it belongs to an Teotihuacan civilization, it is from that era, which flourished around the Aztecs. But it has something distinct. It has got cultural trajectory similar to that of Mayans, while Mayans built spectacular temples like those at Tikal or Chichen Itza, the Pyramid of Sun at Teotihuacan stands as a testament to another equally powerful and sophisticated ancient culture. As far as my visit goes, my visit to the Pyramid of Sun was a profound experience, definitely. And it was one that underscored many of the themes I explored in the Mayan routes and Indian roots. Standing at its base, looking at the colossal tiers, you feel an immense sense of human ingenuity and spiritual devotion all at the same time. while visitors are no longer permitted to climb it because of preservation reasons. Simply walking around its vast base and viewing it from a different vantage point along the avenue of death, what they call it, is an exercise in humility and awe. So it was one experience which has actually moved me, and I was
Mhm.
mighty impressed by the way everything has been planned there, right from the ticketing to the guides, audio guides, and physically, if you want to hire a guide. So everything is out there. So must visit place, and I would highly recommend anyone visiting Mexico must visit the Pyramid of the Sun.
And also in Mexico, I realized Mexico is actually Mexico, right?
Yes, yes.
So at Cancun in Mexico, you found I found your descriptions of the sinkhole and Chichen Itza. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, it's Chichen Itza. Perfect.
And I realized that what a significant place it is. So what are the stories about them?
It's true. Cancun actually serves as a getaway. But real historical magic for me began when I reached the site of Chichen Itza. And mesmerizing cenotes, I must say. They are mesmerizing. So the Great Pyramid you are referring to, which is also called Chichen Itza or the Temple of Kukulkan, it's a
Okay.
Mayan masterpiece.
Okay.
Standing before it, you are instantly transported to a world of incredible astronomical precision. And
Hmm.
why it is so, I will try and explain. So
Hmm.
its steps and platforms are so aligned that during the spring and autumn equinoxes,
Hmm.
the shadow creates an illusion of a giant serpent, Kukulkan,
Oh,
descending the staircase. So it is so
really?
beautiful. It's so beautiful. Yeah, the precision with which they have made it is so
Hmm.
beautiful. And it's a powerful story of cosmic connection and sophisticated engineering. And then you find sinkholes or the
Hmm.
cenotes, the way they
Hmm.
call it.
Hmm.
These incredible limestone caves filled with crystal clear fresh water. And
Hmm.
for Mayans, these were not just swimming holes, they were actually sacred getaway to the underworld. What we
Okay.
call patal, they
Acha.
call it zibalba, something
Hmm.
vital for sustenance of ritual beliefs and things like that.
Hmm.
So when one descends into the cenote, it feels like you are entering another world, another realm
Hmm.
altogether. Very
Hmm.
cool, mysterious, and deeply spiritual. And all of them, they tell a story of a civilization linked to its environment where water was life and earth held the secrets. So
Hmm.
that is what Cancun and Chichen Itza and its cenote
Hmm.
was for me.
And you described in the book the Patal Lok, and the concept is the same. So, what is the philosophy or the belief behind it?
So what I could understand is if you see the globe, Mexico and India are the antipodes. So what I mean by antipode is, so if you take a pen and you start piercing it through the globe. So if you start piercing it in India and
Hmm.
go straight away, the pen will come out in Mexico. And
Oh,
in Mexico, people say that there is a concept of underworld, and underworld is governed by someone called Indra, which is India.
oh,
And India,
uh-huh.
we say Maya, we Danav aa jate hain. And so there is some interconnection. For them, we are the Patalok.
Ah,
For us, they are the Patalok. But
oh,
actually, we are just the antipodes of the world. So maybe
okay.
in those times also, our ancestors knew that maybe
Hmm.
the world is round. And if you start passing through this, so you might emerge there, and there is
Hmm.
the Mayan world. And that's why Maya Vidanav and Mayans, and
Hmm.
that's why for their Patalok, the god is Indra.
Hmm.
So somehow I found the connect that for them we are the Patal, and for us we they are the ones.
That's certainly very interesting. And so, what aspects did you see in their history which resonates to our own roots or traditions in India?
Truly so, in my book, Indian roots, they truly come alive. So beyond the cultural echoes, if you see, I found profound philosophical and historical resonances.
Hmm.
Firstly, if I can talk about the emphasis of family values, the respect for elders, and the vibrancy, the colorful celebration, the entropy of the crowd. Oh,
Hmm.
Mexico City, this is amazing. That
Hmm.
deeply reminded me of India.
mm,
and the food, the habits are pretty similar. They
mm.
use tortillas, the flatbreads, the
Yeah,
way we
yeah.
use our chapati.
Uh,
It's something same. The
mm,
spices that they use, the flavors that they have, the stews,
mm,
the sauces, the gravy,
mm,
and even the street food culture.
mm,
It was so much similar. The faces of the people,
mm,
it resembled someone from the highland, maybe Uttarakhand or
mm,
Himachal, and for that matter, Nagaland, Kohima.
mm,
So even the faces were similar. And philosophically, if we talk about, there was lot of equality between these two countries.
mm,
The Mayan fascination with the clinical time, creation and destruction. So they also believe that somewhere something started and then somewhere something is going on, and it will
mm,
lead to destruction before something new starts. So this was something very fascinating. Felt like echoes of our own ancient concept of yugas and cycle of life and death.
mm,
And then you see the many symbols that resonate, like you will find serpents at many places in their
mm,
paintings, along with the deities with Indian eye. That brings
mm,
to our mind our own Naga tradition. And
mhm,
even in the architecture, there are like subtle parallels, like the grand scale of they have made their things and underlying mathematical precisions that
uh-huh.
suggests that some approaches are universal, be it buildings, be it cultures, be it rituals, something is universal. So
Mm.
that's my take on that.
Yeah, and the biggest similarity you talk about is that the both civilizations are the original six, two of the six cradles of civilization.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. And I tried to bring that fact in my book
Mhm,
because all six of them, they independently grew, and they all grew because they had a staple food for themselves. But
mm,
what truly fascinated me, that wherein Indus Valley civilization is unequivocally one of the original and primary civilization, the Mesoamerican is not far behind. If you look at the
mhm,
Mayans, the Teotihuacans, and later on
mm,
the Aztecs, they
mm,
are recognized as independent primary civilization that developed complex societies, the writing
mm,
system. They had a very well developed astronomy and
mm,
monumental architecture, as we have already talked about,
mm.
without significant external influence from any other ancient major centers.
Yeah, so they all grew independently, but with more or less the same developments.
More or less the same development. And that all started with surety of food. So any civilization which I have tried to bring
Mm,
out in my book also, can only develop if you are self-sufficient in
mm,
terms of your food needs, the
mm,
most basic need.
mm.
Then only you can have time to focus on various other things that defines a civilization.
So you have brought about these similarities a lot, and also that both had very introspective philosophies, and I guess you got a sense of that also because I read up on Central America and the Mayan route, and I read that the populations in these five six countries which you travel are actually the direct descendants of the Mayans, and so their traditions would more or less be the same as before, isn't it?
Absolutely. In India, our introspective philosophy, if you look at, is evident in yoga and meditation. The
Mhm,
pursuit of moksha, or liberation, as we call it, and
mhm,
a deep understanding of self and
mhm,
cosmos through inner
mhm,
exploration. We believe in understanding of our place in grand scheme of time and existence.
mhm,
These
mhm,
things are something similar what
mhm,
you would see in Mesoamerican culture, particularly in the Mayans. You
mhm,
see an incredibly precise cosmological system.
mhm,
Their calendrical precision wasn't just about tracking time, it was also
mhm,
about understanding cycles of creation, destruction, and human destiny, what we say prediction of future. And
mhm,
their rituals, their arts, their spiritual practices, they often revolved around the inner journeys, the way we do it, that we have to
mhm,
look within to find answers to everything. So
mhm,
they did have, and they do have, a connection to the natural world. the understanding of subtle energies of the universe. You would find somebody doing aura cleaning right in front of the presidential palace of Mexico.
Yes,
So that
yes.
was something very unique I found. So
Uh,
these are the focus points on the inner landscape as much as the outer
mm,
one, and
mm,
shared quest for self-realization and cosmic
mm,
harmony
mm,
that
mm,
was common between both, and that is something very interesting. One must have to
mm.
experience to believe it.
And you yourself have been very introspective while on a journey. So, for example, when you start off your journey and you meet these two ladies in your flight, and you say that what you learned from them. This is Mridula and Shalini. That you learn from
Yes.
them that you will find your way when the time is right. And you say that this brought you hope and something that you were sort of examining within yourself as well. So, how much was this travel a journey within, and how much was it a journey outside?
Yeah, perfectly fine. Yeah, I would like to answer that. But yeah, Mridula and Shalini was again a unique experience because first time we met in the lounge of Delhi, airport lounge, and then they had a different flight. So they flew to Istanbul. And then again we met in Istanbul in the same lounge. There were n number of lounges out there, but somehow we all selected the same lounge. So, I said, what's the probability of meeting same people in two different
Mhm.
lounges, two different parts of the world,
Mhm.
and still you are there? So then I thought, yeah, there is something that is telling us to meet, and then we interacted. So first time when we met in the lounge of Delhi,
Mhm.
interaction was hardly any. But second time when we met, then we interacted, and then we knew many things about each other, and some of them they inspired me. But that was not a case in isolation. Like when I was traveling
Mhm.
to Mexico, I met a couple at Airbnb, and he gave me something so insightful that I would like to share with you.
Mhm.
He said that in Mexico, before we get married, we try to stay together. We try to stay
Mhm.
together to see what the compatibility of ours, and
Mhm.
in that way, we understand that I might be perfect and he might be perfect, and vice
Mhm.
versa. But
Mhm.
are we both perfect for each other?
Mhm.
Present day people say everyone is imperfect. Try to respect imperfection, but that is not correct as
Mhm.
per him. What I learned
Mhm.
that day. So as per him, what I could gauge was everybody is perfect. We have to find the
Mhm.
right combination, and to find right combination, if we have to stay together, so well, why not? Why to suffer for life if by staying together for some time we can understand and answer our question
Mhm.
perfectly? Are we fit for each other or not? So the one of the biggest takeaway from this journey is that we all are perfect. We just have to find the right combination. That's it.
Besides these, philosophical connections and introspective connections, you came across a lot of symbols of India. Like, for example, Mahatma Gandhi in almost every country. I can rattle off the names: Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama. you know, Everywhere you came
Everywhere,
across a
everywhere,
statue. Yeah.
everywhere. I think his words were very great, and
Mm,
well, that was the time when the complete world was in turmoil,
mm,
and this man came with the idea that with non-violence, you can achieve peace, and you
mm,
can achieve whatever you want just through non-violence. The idea was so new, so fascinating that everybody wanted to know what this person is telling. Like when I went to Honduras, the National Museum has a quote of his that the world is not in inheritance from our forefathers, but actually on loan from our children. So these kind of ideas, there they are very fascinating. World don't they have never come across these kind of ideas. So
mm,
moment someone comes and tells you that "Ki, yeah, this is the idea of non-violence, and with non-violence peace is possible." So yeah, world follows him. And not
mm,
only Mahatma Gandhi, apart from
mm,
Mahatma Gandhi, I found Buddha everywhere. Again, the
mm.
epitome of non-violence. Everything starts
Peace.
from
Yeah.
him. And surprisingly, Bollywood,
Mm.
everywhere I could find Bollywood. So I started calling it three B's of India: Buddha, Bapu, and Bollywood. So
Mm,
everywhere, anywhere
mm,
you go, go, you find these three things. Like I mentioned at a place that I went to a souvenir store and their Gautam Buddha statues were there, and they said that this is very special. If you take this, there will be peace at your place. So something like that. So these three concepts were universal, universal. So
Mm.
Mahatma Gandhi definitely, but Buddha and Bollywood not far behind. In fact, much ahead. Yeah.
And you also described a story from Belize. Of course, you weren't able to really go inside Belize, but you narrated the story of Girmitias. That's very
Yes.
interesting because stories like these about migrant populations, because they get subtracted from the country they originate and probably don't get added to the countries they settle down in, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Something similar. So,
Yeah.
if you remember, if I can take your mind back to 1870s, 1880s, when there was famine in Bihar. So what people did, they started walking across along the Ganges, and they
Mm,
reached the port of Calcutta, and there they started doing whatever work they could get, porters,
mm,
laborers, and things like that.
mm,
And that was the time when Britishers were expanding the colonies, and they
mm,
needed working hands for their sugarcane plantation. And they found these guys, the
mm,
laborers and porters at Calcutta port, who actually came from Bihar and those part of Indo-Gangetic plains. And
mm,
then they gave them an offer that for a year, if you go there and cultivate sugarcane,
mm,
we will give you a government permit, which government permit pronunciation was difficult. So they used to say Girmit, and
mm,
that's how they became Girmitias, because they signed
yeah,
a government permit.
uh,
And then they went to Mauritius first,
mm,
and they loved that place and they stayed back there. So much so that today, almost 60% of population of Mauritius is composed of these people from Bihar and the Indo-Gangetic heartland. And
mm,
Bhojpuri happens to be one of the official languages, not Hindi. From Mauritius, when the plantation things they expanded to Caribbean and Belize, because Belize was British Honduras. So
mm,
Britishers said that if you are liking this place, Mauritius, you will like Belize more, or the
mm,
Caribbeans more. So if you want, we can sign one more permit, government
mm,
permit, and instead of going back to India, you can go to Belize or Caribbeans and things like that. So from
mm.
Mauritius, they came to Belize, and that's how the language and that's how the culture and rituals and everything is getting imported to a far away place like Belize,
Mm.
which would be for some of us even very difficult to point on the map of the world where
Yes.
exactly the country is. And you suddenly find a big Hindu temple and Bhojpuri speaking crowd who
Mm.
understand Hindi well, and the pop culture is there where you will find songs in Bhojpuri being mixed with Rastafari music. So it was amazing.
And even the Hindi words you said have found their way into the Creole language, which is very much an amalgamation of many languages from that part of the world.
Yes. So
Yeah.
what happens? The common words they borrow, and the grammar is of some other language. So it may be French, it may be Spanish,
Mhm.
but the vocabulary is common. If you again come back to Africa, the
Mm,
Swahili language, which was a
mm,
trade language, actually developed between Africa and India because of these monsoonal winds,
mm,
the southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. So again, between Swahili and Hindi, there are many words like dawa, daru, dunya, banduk, dukan, things like that. So similarly, from African coast, these words they travel to Belize, and that's why a few words there you could find, which is very common to us. Chapati,
mm.
chai, yeah, things like that.
Yeah. Quite fascinating.
World is one. World is
Yeah.
one. World is one. We keep saying
Absolutely.
that we live in
Yeah.
the world, but world is one.
And the your foray into Guatemala, and you described that it hardly has any tall buildings in the area because because of it has that ring of fire with its 37 volcanoes. It was quite
Yeah,
fascinating. Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
Guatemala does have few tall buildings, but not at Antigua, Guatemala.
Mm,
So
mm,
when they made the capital for the first time, they thought that okay, fine, beautiful ranges, and at the base of it, we should make our capital. But
mm,
again, ring of fire, volcanic eruptions are so common, and in one
mm,
of those eruptions, the Antigua, Guatemala, the ancient capital capital of Guatemala. It got destroyed. So
mm,
then they had to rebuild the city a little far away from that place.
mm.
But what exactly I meant when I said that geography can change the
Yes.
city's landscape was
Mm,
Nicaragua. It
yeah.
was Managua, where only one tall building stands
Mm,
testimony of
mm,
time. Rest all got destroyed because of the earthquake and volcanic
mm,
eruptions, earthquake per se. And
mm,
there was a time when actually the original plan of making the inter continent or interoceanic canal was in Nicaragua, but because of these tectonic activities, the plan
mm,
got shifted to
mm,
Panama,
mm,
and that's how Nicaragua, very few tall buildings you will find,
mm,
and the canal somehow instead of Nicaragua was built in Panama, which happens to be a different story altogether. So if you have a canal connecting Atlantic and Pacific in your country, the complete
mm.
game changes. So
Absolutely.
Nicaragua almost had that canal, but it
Mm,
lost it because of the geographical fact that it is on a seismic zone which is very, 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 very vibrant.
mhm.
So that's why. That's why.
So, what was the visit to the Panama Canal like?
So visiting Panama Canal was again out of the world,
Mm,
awe-inspiring experience, a true
mm,
marvel of human engineering.
mm,
To witness those huge, colossal ships being
mm,
lifted and lowered
mm,
through series of locks
mm,
and effortlessly transitioning between the two vast oceans is something out of the
mm,
world. I could have never imagined that. Now you see, the Panama is not flat like Suez Canal. Suez Canal
mm,
is like, you dig the desert and from one ocean to you reach the other ocean.
mm,
But Panama is a hilly terrain, so there are
mm,
hills. So
mm,
the ship has to rise up, and that
mm,
is being done by feeding water from a lake, which is there on top. And water comes, the ships rise up, and when you reach the top, you traverse, and then while going down again, you go down again because of water being filled from the lake, which is on the top, gravitational. So that complete experience was I could have never imagined had I not seen that how so big ships can be raised up and raised down as far as about 30 meters on their journey towards Pacific from Atlantic and vice versa. That was something which fascinated me. And apart from that, the complete story of Panama Canal is of immense ambition, incredible human perseverance, and significant human cost. It was not easy to build. So many people lost their life, and we had to, you know, contract workforce from around the world. It actually began with a French attempt, famously abandoned due to engineering challenges and devastating diseases, because so many people from so many places, different standards of hygiene and different kind of immunities they had. So they exchanged diseases apart from exchanging various other things. And then, when French failed, then came the Americans, who, after Panama's independence, could complete it, transforming the global shipping, military strategy, or economic power the world had forever. And it literally reshaped the world map and trade routes, drastically cutting the travel times between Europe, the east coast of USA to Asia, and west coast. You name a place in the world, and that place have been benefited because of this canal. It stands as a testament to what humanity can achieve through sheer will, innovation, and imagination. It's a living and breathing artery of global commerce, a silent yet powerful monument of human ingenuity and geopolitical ambition.
Books in us opens doors to knowledge and an understanding of the world around us. Let's discover together.
Yeah, so you also talk about visiting the Interoceanic Museum in at Panama, and of course you didn't give any details of what you found inside, but I'm curious because Atlantic and the Pacific, when you join them together, there could be so many things, and I want to know that did it have the information about both the oceans and what happens when they get connected?
So yeah, definitely it has info about both the oceans, but more than the ocean,
Mm.
the museum itself focuses on the canal per se, that how
Okay,
canal came into being.
okay.
So very few of us know that Panama was never an independent country. It was part of
mm,
Colombia.
mm,
And the initial plan of French was to dig Panama Canal the way they actually dug Suez Canal, but it
mm,
was proving to be too difficult for them. And when the race of canal was going on, the Americans were more focused on Nicaragua. They said that Nicaragua has got big lakes and we just have to dig 22 miles and then we will have the canal.
mm,
But the French said that you will dig 22 miles, but those 22 miles are very, very close to the ring of fire. And in one
mm,
of the earthquake, the complete canal will get destroyed. Why
mm,
don't you do one thing? Our canal is in advanced stages, the Panama
mm,
Canal, and you can just buy that project from us and make your own canal. You don't have to make your
mm.
canal in Nicaragua, which is so risky. And the museum actually tells the complete story that how American they abandoned their own project
Acha.
at
Okay.
Nicaragua. They
Mm,
came to Panama and then they bought the complete thing from the French government. But then Colombian government said that no, no, no. We had given
mm,
the contract to the French. If French makes, they make. Else we'll make it on make this canal on our own.
mm,
Through whatever help they would have in this art, because by then they realized, wow, this canal is gonna be game changer, the
mm,
way Suez Canal was. So
mm,
they denied the transfer of contract from French to the US, and that was the time when US actually helped Panama to break away from Colombia.
mm,
And when Panama became independent country, within 15 days the contract was given to the US,
mm,
and then the complete canal was made. But when the canal was made, the history says that the strip, that is 10
mhm,
kilometers either side of the canal, the
mm.
land belonged to USA. And the story of a flag that
Yeah.
since the land
Yeah.
belonged to the USA, so but they somehow allowed in the middle school to fly both the flags,
Mm,
Barbosa School had both the flags of the US and the flag of the Panama.
mm,
And in some of the vacation, the US students, they took the Panamanian flag down and it was put back by the students of Panama.
mhm,
And that's how the scuffle started, which actually resulted in independence of Panama. And we see the anti-climax happening now. The present president of USA say that we want to take Panama back. So
mm,
that museum actually traces the complete history, that how even
mm.
middle school student can start a
Yes.
revolution. It is all
Mm,
about a ripple effect, a butterfly effect, as you say, and
mm,
very beautifully done. The chronology is so awesome.
mm,
And one more thing, like it also tells about historical misses, that how come at times we don't come to know about such big events
mm,
because of historical misses. Like opening
mm,
of Panama Canal was a great news, but world missed it because that
mm.
was the day the World War One started, or the Great
Oh,
War at that point of time.
okay.
The transfer of Panama from USA to Panama, the Panama Canal and that strip that we had from
Mm.
USA to Panama was missed by the world, because that was 1st of Jan 2000. The new millennium
Okay.
was coming. So the world
Okay.
was busy celebrating the millennium in exuberance and jubilation of welcoming the new millennium. We missed that Panama Canal
Mm,
strip actually
mm,
went back to Panama in toto. So beautiful museum. So it
mm,
touches many things apart from the
mm,
ocean. But the thing which was very close to my heart was they also speak about all the laborers
mhm,
from 104 countries who are,
mhm.
including Indians, many of them from Punjab, including Indians. And one of the largest Hindu temple of Central America is there in Panama. I call that place the pot puree of the world, because from
Mhm.
world over 104 countries people came and worked, and most of them decided to stay there and not to go back. So the museum tells story about everyone.
So all these descendants of all these 104 countries would are still there, and they must be well integrated into the population now, right?
Yes, that is what I was made
Mm,
to believe. But I
mm,
could, being an Indian, I wanted to know more about where
mm,
the Indian people are and where our
mm,
temples are and things like that. So
mm,
after that, I focused more on the Indian community, which
mm,
I could find in forms of, Indian restaurants and Indian temples and Indian rituals and traditions and things like that. Indian vehicles,
mm.
Jimny, you could find Jimny everywhere, and
Okay.
you could find Royal Enfields there, yeah. tuk-tuk, what they call Bajaj Auto, that was there. So yeah,
Okay.
in some way or the other, yeah, a little bit of India was always there. India was never missing from any of those countries, and especially Panama, it was there.
Okay, from all these countries, you have also described the colonial architecture because that is also a very big part of their past, and you know the countries which colonize, especially the Spanish and the Portuguese, and the big monuments and the buildings they build. So, did you see that the descendants of the original Mayans and then the culture of the colonizers, how that has got integrated? So, did you see any signs of that integration?
Yeah, many a places, but what I would like to highlight was
Mm,
a church in Guatemala.
mm,
There I found that, traditionally what Western or European churches, they have grape wines,
mm, mm,
made over the entrances. But
mm,
there I found, apart from the grape wines, even they have made maize. And I was like,
mm,
why maize out here? I have never seen
mm,
maize. So they said that no, because staple food of this place was maize.
mm,
And that's why they decided that, okay, fine, maize should always be there. This is something what they said, it is called syncretism,
mm,
putting Catholic saints to be
mm,
worshipped along the Mayan deities. So definitely there is a connection, and there is a mutual respect for local tradition. So you
mm,
will find that vibrant traditional clothing also worn by them and their
mm,
descendant, their distinct languages, and still a strong community structure
mm,
around all powerful sign
mm,
enduring their
mm.
identity.
Yeah, so you're saying that their identity is a mixture of the colonizers, that is either English or Spanish or Portuguese, plus what they inherited from their ancestors from the Maya.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. More than that, they are very, awakened to the local cultures what they follow,
Mm,
and they have not tried to wipe that out. Instead of wiping that out,
mm,
they have tried to amalgamate them into theirs, and
mm,
then they present something which is unique. Mix
mm,
of both, mutually respecting,
mm,
following both of them.
mm. And also from that synthesis comes out a new modern culture, which probably the would be visible a lot in the younger generation.
Yes, definitely. What I would call it is like strength of indigenous roots within the colonial framework, if I can put it that way. Yeah.
So there are so many things from the book which I found that were very interesting, and of course we can't take all of them. So we decided to have a rapid fire section, and we ask short questions. Because you had so many experiences, you met so many different people, attended many workshops, and I find very few travelers actually do
Yeah.
that. They actually learn new things and attend workshops in the countries, and of course tasting the wonderful cuisine of different countries. Fine, so let's go.
Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
so
I'm ready for it.
okay, so best food or dish you ate on your travels.
It has to be pupusa of El Salvador.
Okay, what was it about?
So it is something, not so flatter bread, but again, you eat that with something made up of potato and a lot of spices,
Mm,
and you eat them with hands. So many dishes
mm,
out there, tomalitos, baleadas,
mm.
so they eat with hands. So I loved it. Fritanga of Nicaragua. Fritanga was a dish which I found they serve in banana leaf again, the way we
Okay,
do in South India. So
yeah.
there are many things that were common. A banana
Mm,
leaf was common. Eating with hand is common.
mm,
Breads were common. Our use of beans, kidney beans, rajma,
mm,
that was common. But pupusa, because maybe of potato and the bread and the kind of spices they had,
mm.
well, that's my favorite.
One local custom that totally surprised you or which you liked or connected to.
Maybe two of them. Aura cleaning. I
Uh,
myself happen to be a prani healer, so I never thought that aura cleaning would
uh,
be so common to this part of world also.
uh,
And second one is live in before you get married. Wow, that was
uh-huh.
an amazing concept.
Okay, here's the next one. The best workshop which you attended.
It has to be tortilla making. They taught
Okay.
me actually how to make tortillas, and I got certified also. They had this offer, that whatever you make, you can take it home. or you can eat it here. So I ate there also, and I took it back home too.
Okay, if you could live in any of the countries you visited, which one would it be?
Mexico first, and second one would be Panama, in
Aha.
that order.
Any particular reason?
Mexico looks like India. The
Aha.
vibrancy, the crowd, the rush, the metro, the queue, the struggle for space. I never missed India when I was in Mexico. It was
Okay.
absolutely amazing. Panama, because it's pottery of the world. Everything is happening there. Very
Mm,
vibrant. The chances of getting
mm,
interacted with many people, job opportunities,
mm.
surviving is easier, I guess. So Mexico, Panama.
Most bizarre situation you found yourself in?
Most bizarre Nicaraguan border. I was grilled for 1 hour because
Okay.
they thought I'm trying to migrate to USA. And I'm
Oh.
explaining to them I'm coming from Mexico, then El Salvador, then
Mm,
Honduras, then
mm,
Nicaragua. I'm going away from it. And
mm,
then they asked me that, what's your second profession? I was like, no, I have only one profession. And then I realized that in Nicaragua,
mm,
everybody has two professions if they are specifically working in army. So they can be working in
mm,
army and be a teacher, or be a doctor and still working in army and things like that. So
mm,
part timing thing, the kind of thing that we have in our territorial army. So it
mm,
was very tough for me to explain it to them that no, I have only one profession, and that is
mm,
profession of arms. But eventually they understood, and they somehow I got to know about it later on, that they did a
mm,
background check about me. They
mm,
checked my bookings through the hotel guy from where I have booked, and my
mm,
onward tickets also they checked, and then
mm.
they allowed me. So it was fine.
One memorable person you met.
Throughout the trip, or just the Central America? If throughout the trip, then it has to be Anita.
Okay.
I met her on my way to Turkey from Delhi itself.
Mm,
She was traveling for the first time alone, and
mm,
you know, in that flight there was an option of taking a Wi-Fi connection.
mm.
So she never took the Wi-Fi connection, and when we landed in Istanbul, Turkey, she was having everyone known to her in the world calling her up on video call, that
Mm,
where are you, how are you, um, are you safe, are you fine? And
mm,
then she said something to me that throughout my life, these 5 6 hours were my only time where I was independent. I never had to ask anyone to do anything,
mm,
and I loved it. Till now, I have never traveled alone. In my house, there are so many restrictions. Now I'm going
mm,
to meet my husband in US, and
mm,
these 6 hours were the best 6 hours of my life that I have spent with you. So yeah, I don't know whether I should be sad, I should be happy, I should be smiling, or I should be thinking about how digitally also we become caged at times. And
mhm,
is it right? Is it wrong? I don't want to comment upon, but
mm.
definitely the most interesting person I met was Anita.
A myth about Central American countries or one of the countries which you want to debunk.
I think people told me you're going to Central America, you will be kidnapped. There are warlords and drug lords and things like that. Yes, these things are there, but any country in the world is as safe as your country, or any country in this world is as difficult as yours. Till the time you follow the basics, don't venture out at night. You know the places where you don't have to go. Follow the basics, book the things from official sites and things like that. So if you are doing that, you are safe anywhere in the world. And if you're
Yeah.
not following that, you're not safe in even the first world countries, be it USA, Europe, you name a place.
Yeah.
If you don't follow the basics, you're not safe. So that
Mm.
basic instinct of safety and security should come from within, man. That keeps you safe and happy and going.
Yeah, and actually, throughout your book, I didn't see you didn't refer to any incident which you felt your security was threatened, except one incident in which one
Costa
couple's there
Rica.
was a chain snatching in during one of the walks,
Yeah, Costa Rica.
Costa
And
Rica.
you know, before the
Mm,
walk started, the guide told everyone,
mm,
if you're wearing something that is made up of gold,
mm.
please keep it somewhere. So some
Okay.
of us, we chose to ignore that, and that's why I say whenever you follow the basics, there would
Mm,
be red linings everywhere. You see that,
mm,
don't go there. That's it.
mm.
It's pretty simple. If you follow the basics, you won't find it happening there.
Okay, so here's the last one. A story which
Yeah.
did not make it to the book.
Okay, yeah. So there was a story how coffee bean got exported. I have written a lot about coffee and a lot about
Yes.
various other stuff. So I wanted to put this story that how coffee was introduced to the world, because
Mm,
coffee was found in Africa. It was grown only in the Arab world, but that was it. And instead of exporting coffee seeds, they only used to roast that so that nobody can use it for planting coffee trees. So
mm,
how it was introduced to the world, and that was because of India.
mm,
There was a Sufi saint called Baba Buddhan who could actually got those seeds out of um, Arabian Peninsula on his way back from Mecca trip, and
really?
then near Chikmagalur he
Mm,
planted 7 plants, the
mm,
magical heavenly 7 coffee plants, and from there it spread to the world. So I wanted to put this story that coffee to the world. It might have started in Ethiopia, but
mm.
it was gifted to the world by India. But somehow I missed that story in the book because it was not gelling with the theme, because
Okay.
everything happened in Africa and Arabian Peninsula and then Indian Peninsula. So I said, okay, fine, this story might feature somewhere else or in some of my talks or something like that.
But you did mention about this how cakes started getting made, or what was it? Or coffee and
Coffee and
cakes.
croissant. So yeah,
Croissant. Yeah, yeah.
croissant. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah. So it was all about expansion of Ottoman Empire northwards in the Europe, and at that point of time, Austro-Hungarian Empire wanted to defeat them. And on the outskirts of Zagreb, which is
mm,
present-day Croatia,
mm,
they were able to actually defeat them. And then to celebrate the all the bakeries, the Bolangiri, as they say, all the bakeries were ordered to make a cake in
mm,
shape of the crescent moon, so
mm,
that the complete audience or the complete population can have that cake, signifying that okay, fine, we are having the Ottoman Empire or something like that.
mm,
So that cake was made in shape of a half crescent moon croissant, and that's how croissant was born. So it's a Austro-Hungarian dish, which sometimes we say it's a French thing, and if you ask me exactly what it is, so it's a Croatian thing because it was
mm,
made on the outskirts of Zagreb for the very first time to celebrate
mm,
victory of Austro-Hungarian kingdom over Ottoman
mm.
Empire.
Okay. In the end, would you like to wrap up with the biggest lesson you learned from the journey?
Yeah, definitely. So there is one overreaching lesson I have learned from my writing Mayan routes and Indian routes from the entire journey through Central America, and this is it. The
Mm,
world, despite its apparent divisions and vast distances, is far more profoundly interconnected than we often dare to imagine. So
mm,
I traveled as a soldier and I learned that there are many tactical lines and many strategic boundaries at the first place. And then being an alumnus of a management school like I am Ahmedabad, I
mm,
learned about systems and bottlenecks.
mm,
But this travelogue, dwelling upon the forgotten histories and subtle cultural ethos and echoes,
mm,
truly revealed that lines we draw, whether on maps or
mm,
in our minds, they are
mm,
often very porous. And the
mm,
biggest lesson is enduring spirit of adaptation, the
mm,
exchange, the shared humanity that flows beneath the surface of civilization. It
mm,
was about finding Indian roots in the most unexpected Mayan routes.
mm,
It is the subtle philosophical introspection, the shared love for spices, and
mm,
something which is common. I have also mentioned about the universal welcoming of guest Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam,
mm,
Guatemala, Peru, everywhere. It was something which I found very
mm,
common, and even the parallel resilience of ancient cultures. So
mm,
these are few things that I found common, and
mm,
all of them put together taught me that understanding these unseen connections is the key to navigating our complex world,
mm,
fostering true empathy, believing in our collective capacity to build bridges, not just
mm.
physically, but culturally and spiritually.
And you would like all our listeners to remember that and
Yes.
and take that with them.
Definitely, that's the best takeaway home. And if I would want to leave them with a signature quote, then that would be, uh, when you travel solo, you never truly travel solo. You'll always have someone to travel with you. So with
Mm,
that, just don't hesitate to travel. It's such a great learning. You learn so many things about the world, the people, the history, and the
mm,
resilience that the world offers if
mm.
we are together.
My biggest takeaway was one quote of yours, which I loved very much, is that we too must find inner peace amid the pressures of everyday life. And you said that people
Yes.
everywhere in the world you find are trying to do that or working towards doing that.
Yes, we all are working towards doing that. And this is some of the lessons that I learned from my scuba dives. So when you
Mm,
dive down, or for that matter, in the aircraft also, when you rise up, there is a
mm,
sudden change in pressure outside. So to
mm,
balance that, you have to, hold your nose and blow into it so
mm,
that the pressure which is within you is equivalent to pressure which is outside. Somehow
mm.
the babies and kids, they can't do it because internally they are not strong.
Yes.
So the lesson that we have to derive out of it is to able to balance yourself to the outside changing pressures, which will be every given
Mm,
point of time. You have
mm,
to be very strong from within. And once you are
mm,
strong from within, whether you are taking a flight, rising up like in the aircraft, or you are having a bad time doing scuba dive, going deep down in the ocean, you can still balance your pressure, and then everything would be painless. You will enjoy the experience. So if you're scuba diving, your ears are blasting off, you can't enjoy the beauty. You can only enjoy the beauty of scuba dive when everything is balanced, the outside pressure and inside pressure. And that is something that one has to learn to do,
mm.
balancing of pressure.
Or if you're just facing a bad day.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, okay. Vineet, thank you so much for being part of this special episode. And I learned a lot from your book as well as from this conversation.
Thank you so very much, Ranjit. It was great interacting with you. Thank you. And thanks to Walnut Publishers also,
Yeah,
who organized this talk.
uh,
Thanks a ton for all of you.
yeah. And all the best for your future travels because the way I have got to know you through your book, I think this is going to continue your travels.
Yeah, definitely. I also pray to the Almighty that He would give me enough time, enough
Mm,
health, and enough
mm,
wealth so that
mm.
I continue doing this.
I one ingenious thing I found in your book is that because it's full of photographs from all the places you visited, all the food you have eaten, that you have put a QR code and one can, scan that and actually see it on your website and listen to an explanation about that photograph and the place.
So that was the challenge we were discussing, that how to get youth to read the book because they don't read
Mm,
the books. So
mm.
there are two things that we decided. First thing that we decided was the book has to be in a WhatsApp format, because
Okay.
every kid can read the sentences on their mobile phone. Moment
Mm,
the sentences are longer than that, they are not interested. So if
mm.
you would see, the book is in a WhatsApp format. Sentences are
Yeah.
not longer than what it would be on your phone. So
Aha.
first thing is that. Second thing is that in WhatsApp, if the messages are very long and the
Mm,
second message doesn't come, you try to skip it.
mm,
Read more, you never do.
mm,
So
mm,
length of each subtopic is
mm.
akin to that. Wherever
Aha.
the read more comes, the topic changes. So you would see many changing topics in between. Now,
Yes.
third thing, in WhatsApp, we realized that even if the topic is changing and for a long time there are no pictures and no photographs, again
Mm,
you scroll up, scroll up, scroll up.
mm,
So
mm,
after say two or three topic changes, there would be a picture. So the
mm,
sine curve goes up, but moment it is going to come down, it goes up again, because either
mm,
there is a topic change or there is a picture and there is something new happening, and still the
mm.
length of the sentences are as it is there in your cell phone. So that's the first thing that we experimented with. And
Okay.
I think the response have been fabulous. The second thing we wanted to experience or experiment with was when we used to, as kid, we used to read the books. So
Mm,
on one hand, we had our books, and on second hand, we had the pencil to underline and do
mm,
things and blah, 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 whatever.
mm,
But today's kid, even if they are reading the book, instead of pen in second hand, they have the mobile phone. So we were
Hmm.
like, how to use it? So
Uh-huh.
we said, okay, fine. There are some pictures which are very important, many very
Hmm.
significant, and there are a lot many things to tell about those pictures,
Yes.
which we cannot put in the book. So we put a
Hmm.
QR code, and once
Hmm.
using that phone, you scan the QR code. What
Hmm.
exactly can happen that you can find a audio, video kind of thing, and the author
Hmm.
speaking that why he was there, the
Hmm.
significance of that place, and things
Hmm.
so hence and so forth. So these are the two experiments we did. One was WhatsApp and one
Hmm.
was QR. So technology being used in the book, I think the experiment is going great. The kind of feedbacks we are getting, it's very positive, I must say.
Yeah, acha, I didn't know there was so much thinking that had gone behind
Yes,
it, but I
yes,
did find it very easy reading. In a long time,
yes,
I read a book which was so effortless and so easily read and quickly.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because physically also it should be easy, mentally also it should be easy, and
Hmm.
it should be akin to what we are doing on a daily basis. So most of us we read WhatsApp messages. So the book has been designed in a way that you're reading your WhatsApp. That's it.
Okay. Wonderful to hear.
Yes.
Okay, so would you like to leave any contact details and where can they get this book? I know it is available on Amazon, but anywhere else?
Also, it would be there on the Walnut Publishers website also, and
Hmm.
it would be there on my personal website, the author's website, which happens to be my pen name. So my pen name is the Sunday Traveler. The Sunday Traveler. So that is the place where you can get that.
And if anybody wants to contact you, your email address or anything you would like to give?
So, yeah,
Or
my email would be Vinny as in VINNY 27880 @gmail.com.
thanks a lot, Vinny. Thanks a lot for this conversation.
Thanks, Ratan Ranjit. I enjoyed interacting with you a lot. Thank you so very much.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Good day.
You've been listening to Vineet Kumar, author of Mayan Roots, Indian Roots, a geopolitical travelogue through Central America, exploring the fascinating cultural threads that connect the region to India. We hope you enjoyed journeying through his stories in this special episode, the very first in a new series featuring compelling conversations with self published authors. And trust us, there's plenty more to come. To stay updated on upcoming episodes or learn how you can be part of the podcast, follow us on Instagram or join our Facebook group. Just search for Books and Us Community. And if you'd like to recommend a book or connect us with an author you admire, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a line at podcast@ramonproductions.org. That is RAMONPRODUCTIONS.org. So thanks for tuning in to Books and Us. This is Ranjit Monga signing off. Until next time, goodbye and take care.